It is really true that when you move to Amazon Web Services, you can dramatically increase the security of your information technology. This is contrary to the myth that when you move to public cloud, you're in big trouble when it comes to security. Now, the thing is, understand that you don't get this increase in security without work on your part. We are going to have to follow some great design methodologies when it comes to ensuring we're doing the very best with our cloud security. Remember, there's the concept of the shared security model. There are responsibilities that we are going to have in addition to the responsibilities that Amazon Web Services is going to have within their cloud. So focusing on the stuff that we need to do, one of the things that's important is to realize that you're building things in layers, just like you would in your traditional data center. So you're going to have like your network infrastructure layer, you're going to have databases, you're going to have servers, you're going to have elastic load balancers. All of this stuff needs to be secured. So you want to make sure at every single layer you are adding the appropriate security. This gives us what we love, and it's called a defense in depth strategy. And the attacker may get through one layer, but then they may get stuck at another layer or another layer, and they'll inevitably give up. Once it is clear that you're doing defense in depth, many times they'll just give up and try another target that hasn't been built as securely as your own. Congratulations. Something else that we want to do with security is we want to build what's called traceability into absolutely every layer that we can. So if there is a problem, we can easily trace it back to the source and then begin patching whatever issues existed. Always use the concept of least privilege. We know that there is the root account, the godlike administrator, and that is an R, by the way, the root account, the godlike administrator of the Amazon Web Service initial setup. We don't use that anymore once we initially log in. We create an admin account that's godlike for our purposes, and then we create other accounts for ourselves that will give the least privilege that we need to do certain tasks. And we do this for our fellow administrators. We might have a network admin that we work with, and we give him, let's say, 3 accounts. One that gives him the level of access that he needs with databases and only that level of access. Maybe another one that gives him the level of access that he needs with storage. You get the idea. We're always going to be making sure that we are logged in with the least privileged user account that we need. We also need to remember that as the shared responsibility model goes, we need to do our part, and that is to really take our compute resources and secure them. If we're built on EC2 for compute resources, we need to make sure we go in and we patch the operating systems, patch the applications that are running when new security problems arise. Finally, always consider automating as much of this stuff as you can. That's really going to help you. Inside an operating system like, let's pick Microsoft's Server 2016 platform, there's a way that you can set it up to automatically security patch itself, and that's something that you would want to engage in to ensure that you are secured as best as possible in that operating system. By the way, it's not always that we want our servers automatically updating themselves, so use that recommendation from me with some caution. It might be your policy that you never allow servers to do that. You manually go in and apply the updates, and if that's the policy in your organization, obviously stick with it. Now, another important aspect of Amazon Web Services and security is compliance. What if we are working with patient health records? We are probably going to have to adhere to the standards from our federal government on properly securing this health information. We have to be compliant with the appropriate laws in this area. No problem. Notice there is a section of Amazon Web Services dedicated to this. AWS engineers will help you ensure that you meet the various compliance requirements. Oftentimes, we're able to do this with Amazon where we wouldn't have been able to do it on our own. So we can meet levels of compliance that were never before possible when we were working by ourselves. Something else to think about too is penetration testing. Can we do penetration testing against our stuff in Amazon Web Services? And the answer is a resounding yes, but you need their assistance at Amazon Web Services in order to do this. In fact, let me state it more clearly. You need their permission. You cannot pen test against your stuff in Amazon Web Services without obtaining their permission. And then, of course, they will be able to give you guidance, but that permission step is the key. So would it be possible to move all of your IT to Amazon Web Services and be more secure than ever? The answer is yes, it is possible. And can you be compliant with the appropriate laws and things that you need to be compliant with? Yes, you can. And finally, could you even engage in your own penetration testing against these resources to make sure you're doing a great job? Yes, you can, with permission. I hope you found this nugget informative, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.